All right, good morning. It is May 14th, and we are back for our weekly wellness workshop. We like to think of ourselves as women of wellness, and you guys are all included in that cloud because we, on a daily basis, are trying to take better care of ourselves, right? And we're trying to just give ourselves the love and the grace and all of the things that help us to become better parents, better sisters, better women, just better in whatever we're going to do and living our best life for today rather than past, future, but for today. So we chose a topic that is kind of light and fun today, and I'm hoping that you guys will kind of pipe in with some ideas that you have. But we wanted to take it just from last week, excuse me, when we talked about, the idea of making one decision in our life and deciding whether we want to be happy or not. And that for me was really hit on the head when I read the book called The Untethered Self. And I think I sent that to everybody last week. And there was a whole chapter on the fact that all we have to do is decide if we're going to choose happiness or not. And then that guides every decision we make, that guides every experience we have. And that's not to say that we're not going to have sad days or mad days or days that we're not happy or moments we're not happy. But if we can think when we're making a decision or when we're responding to something, do we want to respond with happiness or not? Then it really truly helps us to take our lives in the direction where we want to go. So this week we wanted to talk about timeless traditions and traditions in general. So I'm going to pop the presentation on here, and it is so dry that my throat has been so dry lately, so bear with me if you hear me clear my throat a lot. Okay, can you guys see that okay? Yes, okay, good. I'm going to put us up there. And if you ever want to move the little reel of the people, you can move it up top or side. That's something that kind of can be moved. Okay, here we are. 1 second, and there we go. Okay, so like I said, timeless traditions, and we wanted to do something fun and light, yet appropriate and time sensitive because of where we are today. So I want you guys to just kind of sit back for a minute and think of something fun and light. Think of a tradition that you had as a child. So maybe your parents were the ones to start the tradition, or maybe their parents or your grandparents, your great grandparents. Think of a tradition that makes you smile and that makes you happy, and it could even give you chills. It could even make you a little bit emotional. What did you love about that tradition? Where did the tradition start? Are you continuing that tradition? And is your family involved in that tradition, or is it something that you do on your own? And most likely, those traditions that you're thinking of will make you smile. There are some traditions that can be guilt-bearing or that can be heavy on our shoulders that we don't need to carry on any longer. But most traditions are things that bring happiness, and most traditions are things that bring a smile to our face and that we want to share with our loved ones and our family, whether it's our friends, whether it's our kids, our husbands, our partner, whatever it might be. Is anyone willing to share one of their most favorite traditions? I'll share one of mine first, and then if you feel like sharing yours, I would love to hear it. So on Christmas Eve as kids, we would do fondue. My parents would set up fondue, and we would do that pretty much every year until it just got crazy, and until our lives became so crazy as older kids that it was harder to carry on. But we brought that tradition back. And what my mom would do is she would get a whole tray of vegetables and meat and foods, and we would all sit around at a lower table, not our dining room table, or not our regularly scheduled table to eat lunch and dinner and breakfast. And we would sit around a low table and we would all just do fondue. And that is all I really remember about it, is just having that tradition on Christmas Eve and sitting around and really enjoying the different type of dinner, and something that was totally reserved just for Christmas Eve. We never did fondue any other day. And that's something that I would like to instill and like to do with my family. I have not done it yet, but that always brings a smile to my face. And it's always something that reminds me of the four of us, the unit of four together, no distractions, just sitting on the floor, basically eating and enjoying ourselves and being so incredibly excited that it was Christmas Eve and tomorrow was Christmas. That's something that always brings a smile to my face. Does anyone have a tradition that they want to share? Genia.
Alicia, that's funny. My family does the same thing.
Really?
Christmas Eve, fondue.
We've never
Yeah.
talked
I don't know
about
if it's a cold weather. It might be a cold weather thing. Like they do it over in Switzerland. So like maybe it's learning from the cold countries.
it could be.
So a tradition that we used to always do, which is hard to incorporate now in my life, but I could with my nieces and nephews. We always made piñatas for our birthdays.
Oh.
And we didn't, I mean, I grew up in Eagle River, Alaska, like, you know, we did not have stores that sold piñatas. We had to make everything. So we would take a balloon and we would do paper mache strips of newspaper. So dip them into the flour and water and put them over the balloon, wait for it to dry, pop the balloon, and then we would take little squares of different colored crepe paper and put them on a pencil and glue them all over the balloon.
Cute.
So it was just something really cool because it was like you said, the night before. We would do it like the night before our birthdays. And then my mom would stuff it full of candy. And then on our birthday party, we would, you know, hit the piñata with all of our friends.
Yeah. That's so cool. I've never heard of that tradition with a balloon. And that's something that my kids would love to make. So I have to get the details on that. And that's something that even if you don't have kids around to do that and you want to instill something like that, like think of how that would make you feel on the night before a special day, even if it's a job interview or even if it's something that's just not related to your birthday. But think of that, how that might make you feel to sit there and do that, even if it's by yourself. You turn on some awesome music, and then maybe you're celebrating that you got a job, or maybe you're celebrating something the next day or the next week. It would feel really fun to pop it and do that. So yeah, although we create these traditions with our families or with specific people, the idea also can be that you can do them for yourself, you can do them for other people, you can do them in different ways. And if it's a tradition that you like and makes you smile, then incorporate it into your life somehow. Okay. And I
mean, we could with like birthdays, like friends' birthdays or like nieces and nephews and friends' kids. Totally.
Well, and maybe it's something that you do because you made it through one more week of quarantine and you give yourself a Friday night, a Friday night celebration, and you have a glass of wine or maybe you have your favorite cake or whatever you like to do to celebrate. But maybe it's something that you incorporate because you made it through another week. And
totally.
Yeah. Does anyone else want to share?
That would be fun.
Okay. I'll move on to the next slide. And oh no, there we go. Okay, so why are traditions especially important today? Hold on, let me move this over. Oh my gosh. There we go. Okay. There we go. So why are they especially important today? So we were thinking about this and talking about it. Cheyenne and I were talking about it, and we're all kind of in a crazy, I like to call it a crazy, chaotic mess right now. But there are so many positive things that are coming out of this too. But think about what traditions actually do. They contribute to a sense of comfort and belonging. So if you think about the tradition that you did, you belonged to your family or you belonged to your friends. And that was such a community effort to make that tradition special. And that gives me chills to think about it because it truly means that you're part of a community. And as kids, it's really important because, being a kid can be scary, and going to school can be, you can feel alone a lot, and even teenagers, it's really important to carry those on into the teenage years because those are some of the years that are really hard for our kids. But when we had those traditions, when we had those moments together, we felt such a part of a community and belonging and felt so comforted. If you think about Christmas Eve, for me, it was just such a cozy, comfortable time that was a really important part. And maybe your Christmas Eve is totally different. Maybe it was stressful. Maybe it wasn't happy. Maybe it was a different part of your life. But if you think of a tradition that was a positive, happy one, most likely you felt a sense of comfort and belonging. It brings us together. So it brings us together as friends and family. And a tradition can be, I know a lot of people have been doing quarantini night or, meet on Zoom with some particular group of friends once a week. Those are traditions that we're creating because of quarantine. It enables us to celebrate things that really, truly matter in our lives. Jeannie, did you want to say something? No. Okay, you looked like you were going to say something. Okay. It enables to celebrate certain things that really matter in our lives. So, right now I know my brother's family is doing an activity each night, whether it's a puzzle, whether it's playing Life or Monopoly. It really allows us to be able to celebrate the point that, yeah, we're locked in our houses more than ever, especially in New York, where they are and where you are, Genia. But having that tradition, and maybe it's a 5-month long tradition, because once quarantine's over, obviously you're not going to sit down and play Life every single night, but it's a 5-month long tradition that you look back on and you say, hey, we had a sense of community, coziness, comfortable. We really grew through that tradition. It acts as an avenue to create a memory. How special is that going to be, specifically for my brother, who I'm talking about, they're doing that little activity each night. For the girls to look back on that, he has 2 daughters, and to say, those were some of the greatest weeks that we had as a family and as a unit to play a game each and every night. It offers us a reason to pause and be present. So most likely when we're doing some sort of a tradition like that, if we're playing Life or doing a puzzle, if we are, having fondue, whatever it might be, we didn't have the distractions of the phones back then, but now where we are today, most likely we're going to put our phone away. We are going to put all distractions and notifications on hold, and we're really going to be present in that moment, which doesn't happen very often. And we have to really try hard to be present in the moment these days with so many distractions out there. And lastly, it really reinforces our values. So for me, fondue taught me the value of family and the importance of connecting with family and the importance of celebrating holidays together and the importance of making a holiday a different celebration, something very special in relation to just a normal everyday life day. So it reinforces values. It helps us to reinforce values. And sometimes we think of traditions, and I don't necessarily think of values related to traditions, but it's a direct correlation, because we are reinforcing different values that we have in our family lives, with our friendships, whatever it might be. Okay, now this one was something that I kind of was enlightened with while I was reading and doing some research on traditions, but sometimes traditions can be outlived. Creating new traditions with your own family is crucial. And sometimes we feel badly about that. Maybe our grandmother started a tradition that she makes a certain dish every single New Year's, and we just don't want to make it. Or maybe, our parents created a tradition that we feel badly ditching, but that isn't serving our family. And I love this quote: we must cherish our yesterdays, but never carry them as a burden to us in the future. Each generation must take nourishment from the other and give knowledge to the one that comes after. So with some traditions can come guilt, and with some traditions can come the feeling of a burden. But it's important to notice when that happens and to really stop and think about, is this bringing me joy? It's just like the book, The Art of Tidying Up. I'm not saying that title exactly right, by Marie Kondo. And is this shirt bringing me joy? Is this tradition bringing me joy? And if it's not, then it's time to say goodbye and to create something new. And it's nothing against that person who created it. It's nothing, no harm, no foul done to that person. It's just what's serving you best at this point in time today. Most of the time traditions are positive and we feel really happy about them, but I did want to acknowledge the fact that sometimes guilt can be a part of tradition, and it's not necessarily healthy or necessary. And guilt is basically us carrying a burden or responsibility for doing something wrong. So if we think about it, and we're getting rid of a tradition, we haven't done anything wrong. We are just serving our purposes for today and this very moment. So unrelated to traditions, if we think about guilt in the way that, have you done something wrong? And if the answer is no, then we have to let go of that guilt, and we have to work really hard to let go of that guilt. So there is a direct correlation with traditions too. And I just want us to know that the joyful traditions and the things that bring us joy are the most important traditions to carry on. Okay. Creating something new, especially during this time of quarantine. So I am going to invite all of us to create something new. And maybe you already have. And if that's the case, awesome. Continue it and journal about it and write about how it makes you feel. So maybe a year from now, you look back on your quarantine journal period and you think to yourself, gosh, those game nights were fun. Or I connected more with my friends on a weekly basis then than I am now. And it just will make you smile, and it will help you look back on this time of craziness and uncertainty with a positive outcome. So a couple of examples that I thought of, which I've recently instated Taco Tuesday, something that we look forward to, something that we all kind of contribute in the kitchen. And it's every Tuesday we do a different kind of taco. So something that can just bring us together. There's tradition there, there's value there, there's the idea of a community. Our kids get involved and we all have fun. Another one, if you don't have family at home and you're alone during this quarantine, Flowers Friday. And again, if it's hard to get out to the store, this won't be very easy. But if not, buy yourself flowers on a Friday. And this can continue on forever. I know friends that do this every Friday. And if you go to someplace like Trader Joe's or someplace where you can get a little bunch of flowers for $6.99 or $9.99, a lot of times we feel guilty for doing that for ourselves. And a lot of times we feel like, well, I shouldn't spend my money on that. But the idea is that create a tradition that's going to make you smile and bring joy to your life. And every time I see a bunch of flowers in my kitchen or maybe by my bedside, that makes me smile and that makes my heart happy. So for me, I have to set aside that feeling of, gosh, I shouldn't spend my money on that, and remember how much joy that brings to me and do something for myself. You could instate something like Wellness Wednesday, where you simply paint your nails at home on a Wednesday, or you take a bath on a Wednesday, or you make your favorite shake on a Wednesday. Something that adds to being well for yourself can be a simple tradition. And maybe it's something that's quarantine related. Maybe it's something you carry on forever. And maybe it's something that you change from Wellness Wednesday to then when we can go back to the spa once a month, you go and get a massage. And those are things that are luxuries in some way, but also are necessary for our own sanity. So just incorporate something like that into a tradition. Fondue Friday, I thought of that when I was thinking of my fondue Christmas Eve dinner, but maybe you do something like a chocolate fondue on a Friday. Sunrise Saturday, I thought that would be fun. If, Lonnie, I know you are such an incredible hiker, maybe on a Saturday once a month, you commit to getting out to see the sunrise from your hike. S'mores Monday. That one was kind of a funny one, but we're up in our cabin and I brought s'mores, and maybe we do something crazy on a Monday when it's not expected by the kids. So point is try to think of something right now before our call is over that you want to incorporate for your family, for your friends, for yourself, whomever you want to involve, and write it down on a piece of paper. And then try to incorporate it with the idea that I'm going to do this through the quarantine, and maybe you carry it on beyond, or maybe it transforms beyond that. Or if you don't want to do a tradition right now, try to think of a holiday that's coming up that maybe you want to create something special. Okay. Lastly, summer is around the corner, and so is school's out. For me, I am so excited to not have the burden and the just the weight of the world on my shoulders to continue schooling at home. I mean, we're done. We are so beyond done. I don't know about you, Lonnie, but like it is so hard to keep the little ones excited, to keep me excited, and to keep us on task without clashing and fights and all of that. So for me, I am going to, this weekend, we're going to plan out what we're going to do when school's out. If you don't have kids and you're doing it for yourself, what are you going to do when summer hits? So on June 21st, is that summer solstice, Gina, in Alaska? I know it's a big celebration, right? 21st. So what are you going to do on June 21st for yourself? Or what are you going to do the day school's out for your family? And think of something and involve your family or involve your friends or just involve yourself and think of something special to look forward to. Because more than ever, during this time of uncertainty and craziness, we need little things to look forward to. Let's be honest. Like it feels like I'm a hamster on a wheel most days because you're just Groundhog Day doing the same thing in a different space. So we need little things to look forward to, like a school's out tradition. And one of the things I thought of that my mom used to do is the day summer began. So school was out, let's say on a Thursday. That Friday morning, the house I grew up in had a veranda that was all glass and it was very sunny and bright. And she would set up a little 2-person table, and it was like going to a little French cafe on this little teeny table in the veranda, and she would set up a special breakfast, and that would indicate school's out, we are full summer mode, and that's just the way it's going to be. And so that was something so little, and we would, I mean, you'd have Tricks or Fruit Loops or something, nothing fancy. But it was a sugar cereal that we never got during the year or during the regular days. But she would get us a sugar cereal, and we would sit at that little French table, and that indicated that summer was starting. So I'm going to invite all of us, and I'm going to talk to my kids about it, but sit down and come up with some plan, either for summer's out or school's out, and create a tradition that maybe it carries over to next summer as well. And without knowing, we're teaching our families and our kids and our friends and ourselves the value of traditions. We're teaching them the values that we hold as families, and we're teaching them community and giving them that sense of community, which may seem like a really trivial thing right now, but think of, you know, in a year from now, they're at school and they feel alone, and they think of the sense of community that they have in their family. It can be a really powerful thing, even just by doing some simple little tradition. Does anyone have anything to add before we get comfortable? Okay, I am going to move this forward, and for a moment here, I'm going to stop sharing the screen, and I'm going to invite us to all get comfortable. Oh gosh, don't tell me I can't do this from here. Okay, there we go. Bear with me one moment here. Okay, you can't see my screen any longer, right? Okay, all righty. I am going to invite you. Vicky, sorry you were locked out for a minute. I hope you're back. Okay, I'm going to invite you to sit back, close your eyes. I am not Cheyenne, and I am doing a meditation, a guided meditation for, I've done a few for small groups, but bear with me a moment here because this is not my specialty, but here we go. Okay. Okay, are you ready? Begin by taking a deep breath and hold it for 5 seconds. Exhale and relax and pause for 5 more seconds. Take another deep breath, as deep as you can. Hold it in and count for 5 seconds. As you exhale, imagine blowing out all of your stress. Imagine that your stress is the flame on a candle. Take a deep breath in, hold it for 5 seconds, and slowly blow out that candle, which blows away your stress for today. Blow away any stress you've been holding on to, saying to yourself, relax now. This can be your new solution to stress. If you find yourself feeling anxious, think of that candle and think of the flame and think of your stresses blowing away with the flame blown out on the candle. Again, say to yourself, relax now. Scan your body in this very moment. Relax the eyelashes on your eyes. Allow your eyes to stay closed gently. Relax your ears and your cheeks and your neck. We carry so much stress and weight in our shoulders. Try to sit back and relax your shoulders. Feel a wave of relaxation sweep over you. Relax your arms. Relax your waist. Relax your thighs. We forget to recognize how hard our legs work for us each and every day. Relax your calves and your ankles. and your feet and your toes. Wiggle your toes and just let them be for a moment. Now take your focus back to the top of your head. Notice the sensations on the top of your head. Maybe you need to run your hands through your hair and give your head a good scratch. Maybe you need to just relax and let your hair flow down. Now let your focus move back to your eyes. Ask your eyes to stop and relax. Allow your small eye movements to feel calm. Again, notice how the back of your head feels against the surface that is touching it. How heavy does your head feel right now? Take another deep breath in and hold it for 5 seconds. Blow the candle out and the stress away. Let your focus move to your nose. Again, letting the air move in and out slowly with each breath. When you breathe in, imagine that you are being filled with calmness. And when you breathe out, imagine your body feels heavy and deeply relaxed, like it's melting into the chair. Now focus on your ears. How do they feel and what do they hear around you? When the sound comes into your ears, act as little waves of relaxation are taking you deeper. Your body is melting into the chair. From here forward, tune out the sounds of life around you and focus on my voice and the music in the background. Let your body and mind take you deeper into a state of relaxation. Focus on your mouth and what's inside. Can you smell or sense the flavor of something you recently tasted? Picture a glass of cold water entering your mouth and rushing down your throat after you've been on a run or a hike. Feel the sensation of the water coating your throat. Move your focus back to your neck and let the tension go. Release it a little more. What are your fingertips touching right now? Take your focus to your hands and feel a sense of gratitude for all that your hands do throughout the day. Relax your hands and say thank you for all that they do. Move your focus to your heart and notice how it feels. Does it feel happy? Does it feel content? Give it a sense of positive affirmation and say thank you to your heart for pumping you so hard for your body. Move to your belly and observe if it's working and digesting effortlessly for you. Once again, notice a wonderful wave of relaxation moving down to your entire body. You are doing so well. Now that you have relaxed your body so well, I'm going to count down from 10, and with each descending number, your conscious mind will relax even more, letting go of anything that holds you back. Imagine that you are standing at the top of a set of stairs, and with each count, you will descend down the stairs. With each step, Feel a sense of gratitude and thank your body for all it does for you. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. From now on, remember this feeling and choose to be in control of all you do because your health is very important to you. Remember that it is natural for you to be healthy and happy. Remember your body deserves to feel energized and well. Each day in every way, I get better and better. Feel free to repeat that to yourself throughout the day. Each day in every way, I get better and better. Now take yourself back to the candle and remember the visual you have right now of a very special candle. Maybe it's a birthday candle. Maybe it's a candle that you love the scent. Maybe it's a candle that was given to you by your mother or a friend. Picture that candle anytime you feel tense or you need to get rid of stress. And when you picture that candle, take one large deep breath in, hold it for 5 seconds, and blow away the stress. And then go about your day. Do this as needed. And remember, each and every day, I get better and better. And now I invite you to wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, and slowly open your eyes. Come back to the moment where you are and think of the traditions we talked about. Make a decision to incorporate your tradition either with your family, with yourself, with your friends, with your community. And thank you so much for being here today. We will see you next week again, and feel free to invite any friends or family that might enjoy this. And from the bottom of my heart, and I know Cheyenne would agree, would just like to say thank you for being here. It's as beneficial for us as it is for hopefully you guys as well. Have a wonderful week. Happy Thursday, and enjoy something very special today. And remember that candle whenever you need it. Bye, guys.